Today I have the pleasure of speaking with Alison Zeidler, who is the founder, the therapist and trainer of Elemental Holistic Therapies. Hello, Alison. Lovely to have you.
Thank you. Really glad to be here, Trina.
Great. I've just been reading some of your bio and the things you do. It's marvelous. You have such a broad spectrum of energy healing. I'd like to start with you telling us some things about yourself and how you came to be your founder of Elemental Holistic Therapies.
Well, I wanted to do something different. I moved here to the Yukon Territory about 30 years ago, and first time away from home. It was a chance to find myself, right? Who was I? What did I like? What did I not like? Right? Just sort of develop my own person. And I've always loved animals. I worked as a volunteer at a children's zoo when I was a teenager. And so once I moved here, I decided I would look at some courses and what would I like to do. So I found this pet reflexology course, and I thought that was fascinating. So I took that and I loved it. And then I took a people reflexology course. And then I didn't think that was enough. And it was sort of, not that it wasn't enough, but I wanted more knowledge. And so I just started taking courses, lots and lots and lots of courses. Most practitioners take a lot of courses because we're interested in things. And that way we can add little tips and tricks and tools into the modalities that we do have. So I learned Reiki and Rahanni celestial healing and quantum touch energy healing and muscle testing modalities, touch for health and heart math and right, the list sort of just goes on and on. And almost everything I do is energy based. We are energetic beings. And it's fascinating how our intention, our love, our thoughts affect ourselves and everything around us.
It's so true. Yeah, I've never heard of, is it Rahanni energetic healing?
Rahanni celestial healing, yes.
I'd love to hear about that.
Okay. It's a modality that vibrates on a pink ray of light, and that pink ray of light corresponds to our heart center. And so it helps us to release those fear-based ways of thinking, the negativity, and open up to, truth and love and compassion, what's in our hearts. And so this energy is beamed from higher dimensions through celestial pink angels, and it allows us to connect with ascendant masters and archangels and higher beings. And Carol Ann Stacy is the founder of it. And in 2002, she was visited by angels, and she was told to prepare herself. And 2 years later, she was visited by another angel and given this information, all of it, about Rahanni and what it is and how it works and how to teach it. So in Rahanni, as with Reiki, there's an attunement process. And so this attunement process brings together the healing energies from the higher dimensions and to the energy of the student. And what we do is we hold our clients in this 6-pointed healing star of light, the Christ consciousness. And it's such a beautiful, powerful, peaceful form of energy healing. It's just lovely.
Beautiful. There's so many modalities you have there. So how do you offer all these? I see you have, is it a couple of websites and groups?
I have my main website where I list most of my modalities and what it is I do and how it can help people. So I see a lot of people in my clinic in person, and I do a lot of distance online work also. And so it depends on, well, pretty much anything that I do, any of the modalities I do can be done by distance, except for reflexology. That is like a hands-on, working the feet and the hands.
Yeah.
But everything else can be done online or by distance. And I also do a lot of work with pets.
I'd love to hear some of that. Do you have any stories
I
for
have
us?
lots of stories.
I'd love to hear. I'm an animal lover. I very much am.
Perfect.
And I'd love to hear some stories from you.
Sounds good. Okay, I'll tell you a couple.
Yeah, thank you.
So my main modality for energy healing is quantum touch energy healing. And it works with the universal vibrations of love, that life force energy that is all around us. It's everywhere. It surrounds us and it sustains us all. And in quantum touch, I'm an instructor. What we do is we teach people to focus and amplify and direct that life force energy, that love. And we raise our vibration. And then we direct those energies to our client for optimal wellness. And energy healing works emotionally, physically, spiritually. And I like quantum touch because it's super easy. Everyone can learn it. You don't have to have any background in any new age stuff or be spiritually oriented. There's no attunement process. It's
And you
just
do
simple
teach
tools.
this as well,
Mhm.
the quantum.
The quantum
Wonderful.
touch. Yes. Yeah. And it's fascinating because, you know, clients come to us to be, helped and healed and fixed. But I can't digest your food for you, and I can't heal you, but I can offer up a higher vibration. And then your inner healer takes that amplified life force energy and knows where to direct it and how to use it for your best health. And one of the interesting sessions I did that actually points to that is someone came to see me. He was an elderly gentleman, and he had really severe arthritis in his hands. And even with the pain medication he was on, his pain level, he said, was at a 9 out of a 10. And the next medication level for him was morphine. So he was in a lot of pain. And he said, "Can you do anything?" I said, "Well, let's try." So I worked on his hands for, I don't know, 20, 25, 30 minutes. And he said that his pain decreased to about a 4. And now that alone is awesome, because any pain reduction when we're in that much pain is like a godsend.
Yes.
But he came back about 2 or 3 hours later, and he said, it definitely helped my hands for sure, right? But he said, I wasn't expecting that the pain in my knees that I've had for 20 years would be gone.
Oh.
So although we were focused on his hands in that session, his inner healer directed a lot of that higher vibration to his knees.
That's wonderful. I mean, to be able to avoid that opioid one slot fits all,
Yeah.
and have control over your health with alternative healings.
Yeah.
That's wonderful. So is that an ongoing practice? Is he given the tools to do that for himself or with assistance?
He didn't, we didn't go that far with it. He was traveling through where I was at that time. But I think that if everyone learned some form of energy healing, the world would be a completely different place to live in. right?
Yes, tap into their
You know,
birthright, really.
yes, yeah. We would have far more control over our own health, over our own emotional wellness. We need doctors. I'm not anti-doctor at all. Like, we need them for sure. But there's so much we have in our own power that can help our wellness.
Yes, agreed. I saw a photo of you with a horse,
Mhm.
healing a horse. Can you tell us a bit about that?
Sure. Um, Animals are pretty sensitive to energy healing,
Mm.
and that sort of placebo effect that people say, oh, it's kind of woohoo, if you believe in something, it's going to work, right? But animals don't have that. Energy healing is going to work for them, or it's not going to work for them. And they can feel it, right? I like to say that our animals are their own people, in that they get to decide whether they're going to accept the energy. They're going to decide whether they want to accept it from me or someone else, right? Because we all vibrate on different frequencies. One of my clients had a horse who was really, really, really anxious and couldn't be separated from her penmate. Like, if you pulled them apart even 20 feet, they'd both just scream and run around. Like, they couldn't deal with being apart from each other.
Mm.
And so one day, with the owner's permission, I was working with this horse and trying to release that anxiety and the fear. And when this horse was about 6 months old, her mom had died in the stall that they were in, and then they weren't found until the next morning.
Mm.
So that was very traumatic for the horse, and goes a long way into that sort of separation anxiety, right? But with energy healing, right, connected with her, and could feel, right, that fear and the anxiety, and we just literally, I just kind of talked her through it,
Mm.
and acknowledged how awful that was, and how afraid she must have been, and uh, you know giving her that sort of permission that it was okay to feel those things, right?
Mm.
and and then just reminded her that she had a lovely owner, and her owner would do anything for her, and she was safe, and she was protected, and so kind of just talked her through all of that to where she was, sort of today. And then when the session was over, we took her back, put her in the pen, and then took the other horse out. Now, normally, right, she'd be running around screaming, and she simply watched us walk the other horse away, and then started eating. There was no screaming, there was no running around. It was only like a 15-20 minute session, but it made such a big difference for her.
Isn't that beautiful and life-changing just to have that peace,
Yes.
the little thing. So when you communicate with animals, is it using a telepathy? Is it a special language you use? Visualize it?
Yes, sort of a little bit, I think, of everything. I did take a week-long animal communication course with a woman in California a number of years ago,
Mhm.
which was lovely. But I don't practice it enough to call myself an animal communicator.
Yeah.
But what happens during a session with an animal is I may start feeling what they're feeling. I
Mhm.
may hear words. I may hear them speak. But it's not really like a two-way conversation.
It's a
I just
guidance coming down, like a
Yes,
medium. Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Okay. Oh, that's absolutely beautiful. I'd love to tap in and learn how to do some of that. I have a rescue dog who I've done a lot of energy healing work with, and she's come such a long way. Love
Yes.
is magic, and
It's
wholly just wanting to be and reaching in and hearing and listening. So what are some of the groups that I see restorative online healing circles?
mhm. I had
So you do
started
group.
that. Yeah, it was I'd started it during COVID. Because
Yes.
not allowed to have any interactions, right?
Mm.
And so once a month I would offer just sort of a group healing. And anybody who wanted to jump on a call was welcome. Sometimes I had 5 people, sometimes I had 25 people from all over, and just sort of a guided healing. So it could be, sometimes I would do almost sort of a guided meditation. Frequently what I would do is I would just have everyone get nice and comfortable, nice and relaxed, and I have music in the background. And then I would just beam love and universal quantum healing to them and for whoever was on the call. And it's energy healing can cross space and distance. It can cross time. We can heal the past. We can send love into the future. And almost everyone comes off of these kinds of calls feeling more at peace, relaxed, sleepy even, right? People who have sleep issues.
Yes.
Yeah.
Such an important time. And COVID, I noticed, brought so much in.
Yeah.
It was just immense. It crossed all those boundaries and brought people together on deeper levels. People reached out, asked more questions, wanted to connect in different ways, and um, wonderful. I know Sacred You community, we came alive. It was birthed in the COVID period. So here we are today with people who are quite comfortable in the understanding, thanks to COVID now, that long distance healing is possible.
Yes. Yeah. And it is I have quite a few clients in the United States, and so of course it's all distant work. And I do work with their pets. I do work with the owners, and it is fascinating how even if we're not on a Zoom call with a client, they still feel it. You know, it's yeah, it's
Yes.
awesome.
Awesome. Absolutely. Um, so there's so many things you do. And with your in-person and online clients, what's the most popular service you provide?
Mm,
Is it
there are
holistic, a bunch of everything?
yes. I mean, when I first started out, people were very specific. They would come to me for reflexology, right? That's sort of all. And then some people would start to come for energy healing, the quantum touch. And then they'd be a little bit more open to some of the touch for health muscle testing modalities. So now ultimately it's sort of a tie between reflexology, the quantum touch energy healing, and the touch for health muscle testing for
Can
health.
we talk about quantum healing energy,
Mm-hmm.
touch energy? Yeah, tell me a bit about that.
So again, the quantum touch uses the universal life force energy, and because it is so easy to learn, it ultimately it's not
Teach
even,
these as
yeah,
well. Mm.
yeah, level 1 and 2. And it's like an innate ability that we all have, and we've had it since birth. and it's just kind of a re-remembering. The tools to learn it are very simple. It's based in love. And ultimately, we raise our vibration up as high as we can so that the person or the animal or the plant that we might be working with, if our vibration is up high, and because they're ill or they're emotional, right, their vibration is low. So we keep ours up high, and that allows their vibration to come up higher and higher as much as possible. And in that space, that's where that their inner healer takes over and takes that energy and uses it for their best health.
So you teach these. So do you do that in a group session, one-on-one? And if I'm understanding, you do it in a Reiki level, like level 1, level 2, and you work your way through.
So Quantum Touch has 2 levels, but they've got about 4 or 5 different courses within that. And it can be, of course, taught in person. It can definitely be taught online. And for a level 1 class, I like to have at least 4 people in a class because we practice with each other. And then we get to experience the different vibrations of different people. Okay. But it can be taught with just 2 people in a class. And then the level 2 class, again, kind of like to have a few more people, but I can teach because it's more inner directed. I just need 1 student.
Okay. And it'd be wonderful to do that, all that healing in a group. It's the bonus of learning modalities, isn't it? You get to actually get worked on and work on others.
Yes.
That's marvelous.
The last class I taught on the morning of the 2nd day, one of the students was in a car accident on the way to class. And we didn't think we'd see her at all, but she arrived about 40 minutes later, and someone had been able to pull her out of the ditch, and she drove to class. And she was really, really shaky. Like, she was so upset. And so this was a perfect teaching opportunity, of course. But we just had her on the table, and we all just sent her love and did the techniques that we'd learned the day before. And about 15 minutes later, we were done that sort of little mini session, and she was completely back to normal, like emotionally and even physically. She wasn't agitated, and she had a lovely rest of the day. So, yeah.
Wow. Well, it's a good thing that she was heading to your circle. Wow. So you got hands-on actual trauma.
Yes.
Trauma healing happening.
Yeah.
Well, for anybody that's interested out there with booking a session with Alison, or inquiring and just going to see the wonderful things that she does, Angel is putting some links down below this video that you can go and book through any of those. Ask questions on this post. I'm sure if you have troubles finding Alison's information, we can pass you on. Is there anything else you'd like to talk about? Is there a question that I could have asked, and how would you have answered? Is that a hard one?
That's a hard one, yes.
Here's another one for you, because I
Okay.
just have a couple of sick questions apart from the organic. If you could leave a legacy, what would it be?
Two legacies. One legacy is that everyone should learn an energy healing modality. It can change lives. It changes how we think, our emotions. It changes everything. It opens us up to a world of possibilities, right? And Richard Gordon is the founder of Quantum Touch. And one of the things when he first started that he wanted to see, and wouldn't it be amazing if we could see this, if in war-torn countries, you have the mother of, for example, a Russian, I'm just going to use this example, okay?
Yes.
The mother of a Russian soldier sending love and healing to the son of a Ukrainian mother,
Yeah.
right?
Wouldn't it
And
change things up?
it would change the world, right? So energy healing is like the crux of what I do. I use it every day. And if we had that, then we could deal with the stuff in life much better, right? The chronic
Yeah.
stress that most of us are under, the mental health issues that we have, the addictions. Energy healing can help with all of that. And it's not a cure, right? No claims of cures, but it helps, right?
Yes, it doesn't replace general mainstream medical practitioners, but personally myself, I've seen and experienced it does magic. It certainly does, and particularly loving the story where you've saved the old gentleman from going through that opioid trip, because that's a one-way slot, and it only goes down and down. Where we have the opportunity to self-care with it as well.
Yes. Yeah.
And our loved ones. I just want to thank you so much and honor you, Alison. It's food for thought, and I hope people out there who are watching have enjoyed it as much as I have today. We look forward to having you in the community down the track, and an availability to get directly in contact with you for any of your services that are down below in our videos. Yeah.
Thank you. This has been lovely. I could talk about this stuff, forever, right? Because it's what we're passionate about, right?
Me
So
too.
thank you.